In this video, we're going to talk about why sports psychology is important for you as an athlete. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. Sports psychology is important because of the impact that the mind has on sports and the impact that sports has on the mind. And there are two ways that we can look at this when we're thinking about sports psychology. Number one is sports psychology is important because you can use your mind to impact your performance. Meaning you can develop certain mental skills that are going to then lead to enhanced performance on the field or court. The other side of this is the sports influence on the mind. Meaning as an athlete, you are susceptible to many mental game challenges such as performance anxiety, fear, failure, and perfectionism, just to name a few. And when you deal with those, a lot of times what can happen is this can lead to you feeling depressed. It can lead to you feeling anxious on a daily basis. Whenever you're going to the field or court, whenever you're going to practice or games, you experience anxiety. Maybe you experience fear. Maybe you start to dread your performance. And so the mental health challenges that sports can lead to, that is another reason why it's so important for you to be making use of sports psychology. So we see it in two different ways. And as a mental performance coach and also as a sports psychology consultant, I like to look at sports psychology from a proactive and a reactive standpoint. Proactive means that right now you're not necessarily dealing with any kinds of mental game struggles that you can pinpoint, but you want to develop some more mental skills such as higher levels of confidence and improved focus to elevate your game. But then the reactive side is where you say, okay, right now I do feel like I'm dealing with some performance anxiety, for example. And you say, all right, well, I need to overcome that performance anxiety. So then we can equally work on overcoming that performance anxiety by implementing some positive mental skills that will then reduce the anxiety you feel. So there's two different ways that you can approach sports psychology as an athlete. But no matter which way you're approaching sports psychology, the benefits that you can experience and the benefits you will experience are going to remain the same. And it's really those benefits that highlight why sports psychology is so important for you as an athlete. So benefit number one is increased self-awareness. As an athlete, when you begin to work on sports psychology and you begin to really focus on developing a stronger mindset, you're going to experience higher levels of self-awareness. Now, self-awareness means that you have the ability to recognize your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. But not only can you recognize them, but you understand them. Meaning you understand why they're there. You understand, why am I feeling so anxious before a game? You can recognize it, you understand it, and then what happens after you understand it is you can influence it, and we're going to get to that in a second. But by focusing on sports psychology and making use of it, you're going to increase this awareness that you have in your game. And the more aware you are, the more you're going to understand things. And if you can really understand, why am I feeling anxious? How can I feel more confident? How do my thoughts, what I'm thinking right now leading into the game, or how am I thinking in this one specific situation in the game? How is that impacting the way that I'm feeling? And then how is the way that I'm feeling and the way that I'm thinking impacting my play? Benefit number two is that it's going to increase your enjoyment. This happens mainly because when you have a stronger mind, so you have more developmental skills, you're going to be able to enjoy your game more. When you're not enjoying your sport, this typically comes from high expectations. It typically comes from experiencing perfectionism, anxiety, fear of failure. And when all of those things are clouding your mind, of course it's difficult to enjoy your sport. But the more you enjoy yourself when you're playing and the more you enjoy yourself when you're training, more likely you are to actually succeed and perform as well as you want to perform. So it's very important for you to learn how to enjoy yourself, especially as you increase levels in your sport. You go from high school to college and maybe college to professional. And when you make use of sports psychology, you're going to learn how to identify what you enjoy about your sport. And more specifically, you're going to be able to identify how you can focus on that to actually increase your enjoyment in your sport. The third benefit is that sports psychology is going to strengthen your mindset. The way that sports psychology strengthens your mindset is by focusing on the specific mental skills or the mental characteristics that are going to make up mental toughness. Now, when I'm working with an athlete, what I really focus on is self-awareness, like we've already said, self-confidence, focus, resilience, self-image, and self-management. Now, all of those mental skills and characteristics, when you focus on developing those, that leads to a stronger mind. Because just like when you say that you have a strong body, It's really made up of individual muscles and parts that are strong, which lead to a strong body. So for a strong mind, you have to focus on developing the individual mental characteristics and mental skills that are going to lead to that stronger mind. And sports psychology can help you do that. The next benefit is a more positive mindset. As an athlete, if you're wanting to be a strong competitor and dominate the competition, always being positive might not necessarily seem like the best option. But when I'm talking about having a more positive mindset, what I mean is having more of a mindset that you can succeed. Whenever you face setbacks and failures, you have a positive mindset, meaning you learn how to pull something that you can learn away from that mistake. So something that's normally a negative situation, it can turn into a positive. By positive meaning it positively impacts your performance and positively impacts your growth as an athlete. And the more that you work with sports psychology and you really focus on your mindset, the more positive mindset you're going to develop. And then the last benefit is increased performance. When you really begin developing the mental skills that are taught within sports psychology coaching and mental performance coaching, you're going to increase your performance. The reason you're going to increase your performance is mainly because your mind is now being used as an asset. A lot of times, if you're dealing with negative self-talk, right, fear of failure, anxiety, your mind is really holding you back. And as an athlete, when you begin to work with sports psychology, this frees you up. It turns your mind into an asset and it allows your body, as you go into a performance, to simply play. You're allowed now to finally just perform freely and perform with the talents that you have worked hard to develop. And all of that happens because now your mind is on your side, rather than your mind continuing to be a setback and a liability. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the sports psychology consulting service that I offer, I'll put a link to it in the description below. Whether you work with me or whether you work with somebody else, I highly encourage you as an athlete to make use of sports psychology and mental training. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We put out new videos each week on sports psychology and mental training. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about one-on-one mental performance coaching, head over to successstartswithin.com.